Hey folks, I'm Red Monster SC, and welcome to episode 2 of the Let's Go Mining series, my unscripted 0 to hero playthrough using only mining methods. We started off this journey with 20,000 credits and an Aurora MR. At the end of episode 1, we left off here at Everest Harbor with our Pembroke undersuit, flight helmet, Grey Cat multi-tool, med pen, quick flare, backpack, and a credit balance of just over 41,000. My plan for session 2 was originally to rent the Cutlass Black and Grey Cat Rock and get into surface mining. However, I realized that the rental cost for the Cutlass Black has gone up as of a few patches ago, so the initial cost is actually going to be 36,000 instead of the 27 to 30,000 I originally planned on. So we do have a bit more cave mining to do before we're ready to start shelling out credits. That is unfortunate, but it is one of the things you'll need to watch out for with Star Citizen. As it's developing, things change quite in the pricing, so always double check your numbers. Fortunately, that's not too big of a deal. The plan for today's session, we're going to use the mission system to locate a less common cave, go in, break a few rocks in there, cash them in, and then we'll be ready to go shopping, where we will be able to start looking at the rental. I will wait to do the rental until the beginning of the next session, because I think I want to try and get 2 or 3 sessions in on the Cutlass and the Grey Cat Rock rentals while we pay for them. Might as well get the use out of it. We're gonna do those. It'll be multiple sessions. I'll try and record them in one sitting, but just for ease of editing and pacing things out. With cave mining, we'll make 40 to 50,000 credits per hour, and with Grey Cat Rock, you can actually earn 150 to 200,000 credits per hour. Now, I'm not gonna go do a full 10-hour long session and try and burn through up to the prospector in one run, but that will get us well on our way, and I think we'll utilize the rental system, at least for the Cutlass Black, for part of that, and then move into the Misc Prospector rental later on. Let's go ahead and look at the mission system. So we have these missions on the investigation. This investigate missing client, Rolf Calloway. He was last reported to be heading to a cave on Hurston. The cave can be accessed with a small ground vehicle, so this is actually going to be a fly-in cave. This will be an interesting one. There are other caves that are walk-in caves, and pay attention to the location they're at. Hurston isn't too bad for at night, I believe. Let's go see if we can't find some deposits there. So I'm going to accept this mission. I'm not going to go through and try and find this guy, unless it's super easy. We're just going in there to find some cave deposits of the 0.1 mass that we can break with our multi-tool.
Engines are on. Collision alert.
It doesn't look like it's too far away from Lorville proper, so we're going to use that as our quantum travel destination start.
Bottom drive is now on.
We need to navigate to that. The benefit of these mission caves is that many of them are not quantum travel destinations, so it is much more difficult to locate and navigate towards. This one is actually pretty easy to get to just because of the distances involved. We're 30 kilometers away from Hurston. We'll be in a pretty much plain shot. We might actually try and get a different mission later on if we can find one pop up. If you don't see a cave you like, it's okay to go to one of the marked caves that's a quantum travel destination, or search online, see if you can't find yourself some other caves that are more accessible. As As we approach the planet's surface, make sure to keep hitting that tab key. Especially in the dark, it gives you that virtual horizon. I do it just out of habit. When we make our approach, the altimeter works here. Planets and moons, and occasionally the altimeter gets a little wonky. I think what it's reading is the altimeter from the main planet in that system instead of the moon that you're on. I have seen it move around a little bit as we're going through Aberdeen, and it's unhappy about something. So 4 kilometers away, we'll start slowing down. One thing to keep in mind is that your ship's slowing down is a lot harder than speeding up. You've got some good acceleration, but you really need to watch that turn and burn. Up here, this cave can be accessed with a ground vehicle. Now, there are going to be some issues here. I don't know if I want to specifically fly in. And I'm seeing deposits in there. Park it. We could fly in. I would recommend against that, just for the sole purpose that some of these caves actually collide with a water surface. There's sea level throughout Hurston that you've got to contend with. I would just be very cautious about that. I've flown into a cave before in a spaceship and immediately exploded. That's not fun. We got our mining gadget. The other thing, last time I actually was able to loot another multi-tool, and I'm going to throw on the Truehold tractor beam attachment. I found these at Norgard the last time that I was there. I just want to make sure my vehicle looks... It's rolling a little bit, but I think we'll be okay. Yeah, we'll probably be alright. Last order of business. We're fighting against some wind, so it's gonna be unhappy with me. We'll get that pink quick flare activated. So now I have a tractor beam, pick up those pesky rocks, and I have the mining attachment. So we saw the deposits. They were up here and to the right. This is a cave you could potentially drive the Grey Cat Rock into. Maybe the Grey Cat Rock DS. That ledge. I actually have not done much exploring in these caves. So I'm going to start in, and I'll hug the left side as we're moving along, just looking for hand minables. Some of this will look familiar, assets from other caves that they've kind of spliced in here. Might need to continue a little further down before they start appearing, or hopefully we'll find a few. Yeah, there we go. Should be an F right, but it's not scanning. That's what we got. Have a headonite deposit. It's just very particular about your aim. Hopefully that won't cause an issue with collision. We need about 4 of these rocks, and then we'll go cash in. Probably at Loreville, since we're so close. We also do have to go shop for a Pembroke helmet there. And the admin terminal is right next door to Tammany & Sons. That'll be a convenient trip. I had initially wanted a mission that was around Aberdeen, just since we're going to have a better chance of had a night over there. I think. We'll make this work. Yeah, that'll turn out pretty well. I'm just being conservative with the power here. Partially because the aim is very finicky. Store it first, and then double-click F. I am already down to 49% hydration. I thought I had eaten some of the Patambu fruit before we took off today. We'll keep an eye on that. Good news is I only have to really collect about 4 rocks. Each rock that we break leaves 8 to 10 gemstones. At 275 apiece, it's a little bit over 2,000 per. We're 6,000 shy, based on the rental fees. Right, so those are the ones on the surface. We'll just back up a little bit, and yeah, we had one right underneath our feet. Could have tripped on that. Jeez. Watch out. Continue along. We got 1 rock down. The terrain collision in this cave isn't quite as neat. Again, just hanging to the left. Hang left. We'll watch the indicator for our aurora back there help us navigate out when we're ready. Green dolivine. Dolivine. There's a head knight. Right click to aim down sight, left click to activate the binding laser, scroll wheel up to increase power, scroll wheel down to decrease power. The charge level the rock absorbs is a factor of the laser power and the distance, so if you end up getting into a point where it's not responding correctly or quickly enough, you can actually back up, and that's, yeah, just like that, see? Perfect. That was exactly the example. You can also take your laser off if you're afraid you're going to overcharge. Point it somewhere else. 2 rocks down. We're just looking for hadonite. We could grab some other materials, but we won't be too picky. If we have to spend more than a minute or so looking for hadonite, we'll snag one of the others. Just toggle open the inventory. See if we can move it, actually. Yeah, that one's bugged. Happens sometimes. Here's another hadonite. Rock 2, rock number 3. Yeah, the downside of Star Citizen development happening so frequently, you know, you get quarterly patches, pricing changes, things like the Cutlass rental that used to be 27 to 3,000. The location I was looking at was last updated for 3.13, so we're right now on 3.17.1. And Yeah, we'll get 317.2. It's actually in PTU right now, which is pretty nice. Keep an eye out for that. Maybe a little bit closer just to help bring that charge level up faster. I'm stuck at 100%, and it was just hovering right at about 10% below the optimal window. The rock sounds, you can definitely tell when it's getting into that optimal window, and there's a lot more of a rumbling sound to it. There's one point I had done this purely by sound. The interface wasn't working properly, so I tried a really smart thing. Went into third person and just guessed the entire time. I was just listening for those audible cues. It actually wasn't too bad. Alright, that has got to be, yeah, there was more. I only saw 4 on the initial. They just tumbled down. That little spot up there looked like it could have been one. I was like, maybe not. Just looking in here. Sometimes you can... We noticed the previous rock was doing a weird collision thing. Alright, that's an aphrite. There's another headonite. Alright, that's going to be rock number 4. Look at that. Record time. So, 250 meters from the Aurora. It's parked outside the cave. And right about 10 minutes since we arrived at the cave. This is probably one you could drive a Gray Cat Rock or a Rock DS directly from Hurston into. I don't know necessarily if the poppets that are in the main shaft are going to be accessible for it. That would be interesting. Detection range on those smaller vehicles is significantly lower. You have to be within like 500 meters. That Aurora MR, people can probably pick up on passive radar at 10 to 20 kilometers. And a pirate or somebody just doing a flyby could pretty easily spot it. So what is that? 4th rock, probably 8,000 more credits just earned. Make sure that we had a couple right there. The FPS, you don't get to do any scanning. They haven't introduced that yet. Hey, look at that. I think we're good. Is that another? It's one more head night. Might as well pick it up. Since we're right here. Everything else after that 3 or 4 rocks goes into our emergency fund. A little bit of extra cash in case something goes bad. We'll have the cutty and the rock. We'll pull out. We'll plan on doing maybe 3 or 4 sessions if I can with the one rental. I'd say a 4-hour mining session is about the limit of what most people have the game time for. I mean, people can go for a lot longer. It just can get somewhat tedious. Of course, you're earning money, so that helps motivate. I'd say if you plan on renting a vehicle, give it at least 4 hours. You'll get your money's worth. Profit. I think after the first 20 minutes of rock mining, you're going to turn a profit. Similar with the Prospector. You can rent that. It's about 50,000 credits for the Prospector rental. But you're dealing with ores that need to be refined, not the gemstones that can be just sold as is. So a little bit more of a logistical roadblock there. You can sell as raw and like cut your profits in half, or you could take the time to refine, but then you have to actually transport and move them. All worth keeping in mind before you go out and rent. One other note about rentals: you are not able to change out the loadouts on a rented vehicle. So be very careful about that. I'm not able to swap any of the equipment, lasers, modules, none of that. So you are stuck with the stock loadout. You're going to have a hard time doing, if you're renting a Prospector, you're going to have a hard time mining stuff like Quantanium, where it's got really high instability, which is unfortunate. A lot of people get in, try to rent the first time, and I think things go really smoothly up until the point that they see a Quantanium rock and want to try and break it. That's where most miners get stuck and decide, oh, if I can't do the most profitable thing, I'm not gonna buy in. Not gonna buy in. Look at that. We're gonna head right over to Hurston, drop off these couple of rocks, do a bit of shopping, and then we're gonna head to HUR L1 to our vehicle rental. That'll be queued up for next session.
Landing gear raised.
up there. Unfortunately, Rolf Calloway, the missing client, yeah, we're probably not going to find him.
Landing complete. Have a pleasant stay.
You may actually be able to loot materials off of the corpse if you can find the guy's leftovers. They occasionally have some gear, another backpack. Just some things going on there. We got the Hurston Cave. Probably untrack that mission as we get up here into the elevator and onto the train. We could untrack or we could abandon. Either one. For now, I'll just untrack. And NPCs doing their dancing on the chairs.
Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System.
Store the Aurora. Wonderful. Now off to the train. We're gonna hit the admin terminals and then to Tammany and Sons to pick up an updated helmet. Current helmet we have is a standard flight helmet. Doesn't really have the temperature rating we need for surface mining on Aberdeen, or really extreme heat environments. So we need to buy that Pembroke helmet to match the undersuit we've got, and it is definitely a lot more resilient.
Trespassing or attempting to trespass on train tracks is a serious and dangerous
Go ahead and
offense.
put this here. Take that off. I don't have any food on me, and nothing in the locals, so we'll need to work through that. Re-equip the quick flares so we don't forget it. And then we also have, I did pick up a medical tool, just in case I end up getting injured during a cave. I don't have it equipped primarily, just because I've only got the 2 utility spots, and I want to keep that for my mining and my tractor beam. Sit patiently in the train. I like to run up and down the aisle. Just you'll see me doing this during my live streams.
Metro Center. Please watch your step with disembarking
Sprinting
the
up and
train.
down. It makes me feel like I'm going faster sometimes and a little bit slower other times. It's probably true.
Step away from the platform edge when train is approaching.
Going to make our way over towards. Now we can go to the Maria Pure of Heart and actually sit down on one of the hospital beds,
Welcome to Metro Center.
and that will improve
Transfer
your
to
hydration and nutritional levels. Right now our nutritional levels are fine, it's just the hydration is declining. So you can either eat food and drink, or you could hit a medical bed. Let's go ahead and sell what we got. Would you look at that, Hadanite, 10,762. That was from 4 rocks. I think 5. Yeah, we had 5 rocks. So, definitely puts us in a better position. Now up to 5,200, 52,493. We'll come down to Tammany and Sons. They have water at the counter. I'll grab a quick bottle of the water there for a couple of credits. And then we'll buy that Pembroke helmet. Strap it on. Do a
What?
quick buy. And we're gonna just you interact to drink and you hold down that button. If it'll let you. There we go. So the bottle's empty. Hopefully the hydration levels will be done. I can place it. There, say thanks, buddy. And it disappears pretty quickly. So, very efficient here. Next purchase, we need to get, and I don't want to go to the Pembroke. I want to go to Lorville. So you can. One thing people run into is the default destination ends up being like their backpack or their armor. You don't want that. So I'm going to actually set this to Lorville. The category, we're going to look at armor. We want helmets. And then that Pembroke helmet, partway down. It's a very distinct looking. Done with the shopping here. I'm actually going to equip that. There we go. What we can see is the Pembroke helmet, the temperature rating is -75 to 225 degrees Celsius. The extended limits of human endurance, extreme heat of inhospitable environments. Definitely pairs well. You know, these two are a paired set, helmet and undersuit. That's what we need as we're getting out onto surface mining. So let's head back to the train. We're going to fly over to HUR L1, which is a refinery station. All of the L1 stations, HUR L1, ARC L1, Crew L1, and Mike L1, those are refinery stations, paired with the L1 Lagrange point. In addition, HUR L2 is the other refinery station. There aren't many others with an L2 point that does the refinery. You can find, you know, kind of the rest and relax stations are on ours.
To the perimeter, spaceport, and industry lines.
In some of the leaked patch notes, it looks like ARC L2 and ARC L4 are getting refinery stations, so that'll be fun. I'd like to see those routes. Before they come in, just looking at the overall map, you know, we've got ARC Corp. ARC L2 will give us a little bit of an outer angle, and then ARC L4, you know, that'll. I think we'll see a lot of activity. HUR L1, HUR L2, ARC L4, and you can probably do an ARC L4 to Crew L3 belt run. What I'd love to see is like ARC L3, or if we can get maybe some other microtech. You know, if we had a Mike L4 up this direction, or L5 out this direction, it'd be really interesting to see what ends up being out that far. So the Pembroke helmet, we're back to 47,400. We'll have about 4,000 to 6,000 credits for the Grey Cat Rock rental and 36,000 for the Cuddy Black rental. I think we'll be in good shape. You don't want to completely zero out your credit balance when you're doing this, just because there is always the chance that things are going to go wrong in Star Citizen. One other aspect is when you're doing the rentals, only ever do one-day rental.
To the ASOP vehicle retrieval
Couple of
system.
reasons for this.
Vehicle selected. Stand by. Your vehicle has been delivered to this.
So, that one-day rental. So the reason for the one-day rental is that a lot of times they will not pull the vehicle out of your inventory immediately at the 24-hour mark. You'll actually get several days, potentially, where you can continue to use that vehicle. When you go to claim it, then that's where it might stop working, but a lot of times you'll be able to get multiple days on a single vehicle without a problem. The other thing is there is actually a bug in the shopping terminal when you switch to a 3-day rental that it will try and charge you for 30 days. A lot of people saving up some hard-earned cash, they'll go through the confirmation process, and all of a sudden it's taking way more money than they thought. I do think it confirms the values first, but just something to be cautious of. doesn't make sense to rent a vehicle for 30 days.
You are clear to
Especially since most of the time it's most of what it would cost you in-game just to buy the vehicle outright. I think, you know, a 30-day rental for a prospector, something about, I want to say it's 600,000 credits. So we're going to go to HUR L1, which is the refinery station we'll be able to rent the vehicles from, get parked there, and prepare for next session. We're going to rent the Cutlass Black and the Grey Cat Rock and get into some surface mining. It also doesn't matter much for rock mining, but when we get into prospector mining and the other ore, each of the refinery stations has different bonuses to yield on refined ore. You'll see Quantanium bonuses at Crew L1 and Mike L1. That's why you'll see mining operations focused around one of those stations in particular, is because of the yield bonus. Now, we didn't do a ton of mining this episode, just 5 or so rocks, but that was enough to get our credits so we can get it up for Phase 2, which is going to be the rental rock. My plan is to rent the rock at the beginning of Episode 3, and then probably record 2 to 3 sessions back-to-back there, doing various rock mining on different moons and planets. Really just trying to snowball that credit balance so that we can then afford a prospector rental and eventually the purchase of a prospector, which is going to be just over 2 million credits. That sounds like a lot, and it is, but with rock mining we should be able to get there pretty easily, and then we also have the opportunity to try out a rented prospector, look at some of the ore mining, and get into that refinery process before we do an outright purchase. And, of course, with the aid of new mining gadgets, we might be able to go out in a rented prospector and actually try out some Quantanium mining with the help of one of those gadgets, the Sabir, that does instability reduction. It's not going to be the most efficient way of mining Quantanium, but it's at least a way to get your foot in the door, try out some of those methods before committing, 2 million credits to a purchase.
Bottom drive is now off.
CIG has done an absolutely phenomenal job with these debris fields and clouds out in space.
Bottom drive is now off. Bottom drive is now off.
I'm really excited to be able to see when they get the first jump points in. It's going to have these type of clouds, things pulled in by the gravitational pull of the jump points. Really unstable locations, for pyro and things like that. I think they're going to look very impressive. Always remember, you will slow down. Gotta slow down ahead of time. Otherwise, you'll risk smacking right into the station. You can speed up a lot faster than you can slow down. Keep that in mind. Don't get out there and make the rookie mistake of smacking face first into a space station.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
Get our landing pad. Gonna land the ship, get it stored, and then we will get prepped for the next phase, which is the actual rentals. Let's see, I overshot that a little bit. Next phase, which is starting to rent those vehicles. That's where we're going to start to see a lot of credits being earned. We won't have as much of the shopping to do. Just the good kind. Let's go ahead and restock and repair before we get landed. That's 84 credits. Totally doable. And always close the door behind you. takes so long.
Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System.
Got our vehicle stored. And there we have it. Episode 2 of the Let's Go Mining 0 to Hero Challenge. We started off episode 1 with 20,000 credits starting balance. We've earned 46,000 credits with the hand tool and spent around 18,000 credits on equipment, leaving us with an ending balance of just over 47,000. We're going to see that number jump considerably as we move into the next phase, surface mining with our rented rock, so stick around for the next episode as we start to see this credit snowball turn into an avalanche. As always, you can connect with me on Twitch, Twitter, Discord, and YouTube by following the links in the description. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, because there's more than one way to make a living in the verse.